success isn't luck, it's preparation
Thank you.
and consistency.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Success in Doses. I am your host, Saley. I am so excited for this Monday's episode. First thing at the top of your week to get you started and energized. One of the most remarkable things that have happened in my personal career that I identify with when others talk to me about their professional careers as well is how some of the best laid plans never unfolded exactly the way I expected them to. And somehow these unexpected detours in my journey have landed me exactly where I was supposed to be and exactly where I'm meant to be. Today's conversation, we talk about a dose of detours and how one pharmacist used all of the detours that they encountered to end up doing exactly what she wants to do. I'm incredibly excited to welcome to Success in Doses Dr. Amanda DeMarzo. So I am always excited for the opportunity to bring you guys dynamic speakers and individuals whose opinions, thoughts, and posturing in the profession of pharmacy or just professional career at large that I admire and respect. And today, the guest that I have for you, the reason why I'm very excited, it's because I love how candid and transparent and straight to the point she will be with all of you. But you all know I don't introduce folks, but welcome to the show. For everybody who's watching the show right now, it's the very first time that they see your face and your name. Can you please tell them what you want them to know about who Dr. Amanda is?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Dr. Amanda DeMarzo. I am the founder of Sudacon, and I am a payer policy expert. I am trained as a pharmacist. I transitioned from pharmacy school into industry with some medical writing in there before going into patient access, managed markets, and market access and payer policy as I am today. It's been an interesting trip. I would say it's a very non-traditional path to pharmacy, but in that I've learned quite a bit that I can share with all of you. So I'm really excited about our conversation today.
Me too. And one of the things I really love about you and all of the I'm going to say million, but girl, you know what I'm saying. You haven't had a million jobs, but I think that you are essentially a unicorn. And I tell your story a lot to student pharmacists because I interact with a lot of people, but you all are the minority. Those of you that didn't take the traditional path and you ended up somewhere that still you are finding meaning and purpose in everything that you're doing. But I want us to go back a little bit and talk about final year Dr. Amanda or the PharmD candidate Amanda. What were you thinking about as a final year student pharmacist for what would be next after graduation?
I definitely didn't think I'd be where I am today. So thinking back to that time, I knew at some point in my future I'd own a business. Like that's kind of always been where it was. Like I had preceptors my P4 year that were telling me like Amanda's going to be my boss one day. And
My
I was like,
God.
my goodness, that's so sweet, but also so scary. And so my P4 year, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I really liked pharma. I was like, I don't really understand if I want to do a residency because I knew other paths in. So
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I want to do the residency or the fellowship. And I was like, do I love clinical? And then I had a clinical rotation in like October, November that I loved.
Mm.
And I was like, can I swing this? Can I try and get into a residency? And I could tell you I was that mad dash at the end trying to put
Yeah.
together everything, but
Yeah.
I was like scrambling to get it in. And I had submitted my residency application, went through first round, and I had 5 interviews or something like that. It was just when you are a P4 and you see the residents breaking their backs, do you want to be that person? the next year. Because as you are watching, you're not just watching to see like how much they're learning, but you're also seeing how much they're covering because they're not hiring a new person. You're seeing how much they're covering and working 80-hour weeks, even if they're supposed to have off. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I loved the residents. Don't get me wrong. They were really good. One of them was like, I want to be a resident. And the other one was, I wanted to be a resident and I didn't do it the first 5 years out of school. And
Yeah.
then I got a residency. And this was the one. So they were like really interesting people. And I was like, I want to be them, but was that the right program for me? Maybe not.
Yeah.
And then I applied to other programs and I just didn't feel like it clicked. One of them did, and I still think about it today of like, what went wrong with that? Why didn't we
Mm,
match? And I'm like, I still can't figure it out. I genuinely don't know, but there was quite a few programs that I was just like, I'm not clicking here and I don't see myself here for 1 to 2 years.
yeah.
I might like the area, I might like a couple people, but do I like, I was only there for a day interviewing and I felt the politics. Did I want to be a part of that?
Yeah.
And that was just what got me into really understanding like the politics and the culture of where you work and you want to be a match. So long story short, didn't match in round one. Went around again in round two, and then it was in the I interviewed again 2 times in round two and it didn't really click again.
Yeah.
And it was in places I didn't really wanna go. Like, they had great programs. It just wasn't matching for
Yeah.
me. And I was kinda down on not matching, and I thought about doing the scramble, didn't.
Yeah.
But it was tough. And then one Saturday morning, I get an email from the owner of a company where I was medical writing, because I was
Uh,
medical writing while I was in school. And his wife had been a preceptor of mine, and that's how I met them and got into the medical writing. And it turned into an invitation to apply for a role.
yeah.
I ultimately won out over 50 other applicants, PharmD applicants of
Yeah.
all different tenures.
Yeah.
But I was putting in the work with medical writing and other things to get there.
Yeah.
But that year, I tell students all the time, it's a tough year. It's an emotional roller coaster.
Absolutely.
And don't be me. Start prepping early. Start prepping
And
early is what I'm gonna say.
then like it was a hard year, but also don't wait last minute and then try to sprint to the finish line, no matter how good you are. I think you raised a really important point, right? Because as you're telling that story, and the reason why I love hearing it every time you tell it, it's because there's so many nuggets in there that anyone who's paying attention to you when they're talking that they'll pick up. Number one, you felt like, yeah, this is cool, but I don't know that this is quite it for me. So those signs were there. And I think that we come back to the whole everything happens for a reason thing because a preceptor's spouse calling you and inviting you to apply for a role. What was next after that for you? And how did that transition happen? Because I think that we don't really have much out there for that transition, that 1 to 3 year transition post school. So I wanted just to for you to touch on what was that like for you? Residency is that training and that period that everybody sees as this is going to help me with the transition from school into practice into professional world. But here you were stepping right into it. What was that like?
Well, first, I want to touch on the interview process. It was a lot like corporate interviewing. So I was calling everyone I know, asking, how do I interview for this? How do I prepare? What do I do? So I got the interview questions of like, how do you think through a problem where you need to distribute packages across the nation? How would you segment it? How would you proceed? And they were trying to like get me to think about like, how would I deal with a something that you can't really think through. So it was like, how do we split it up? How do we think about what resources are already there? So like states, zip codes, post offices, like how do you break it down? If there's this many counties and you assume that X amount of post offices in each county, you can kind of calculate out how many touch points you need, right? So it was something like that. So I didn't know
Yeah.
how to prepare for that. And
Yeah.
I don't think anyone knows how to prepare for that
Right.
because that's not something we're trained on. And then the other thing with the interview was it was multiple rounds, and you have an opportunity to communicate back and forth even in between interviews, which you don't have in residency or fellowship processes.
Nope.
So your decorum throughout, I find a little bit nicer because it's more relationship building rather
Yeah.
than like, ta-da, here I am. Here's the package that I put in front of you. Let me interview for you and goodbye. So it's a little bit more relationship building, and I like that interview style a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a challenge, and getting some coaching early on was really helpful. But the transition was I didn't even go to my graduation ceremony. I started my job that day.
What?
Yeah, so it's okay. My bachelor's degree graduation had Bon Jovi at it. I don't think it could have topped that, even if I was in my hood. Even
When
if
you
I was
put
in my
it,
doctoral hood,
yeah,
you can't beat that.
you can't beat that. That is hard to beat.
So yeah, so the transition was day of my supposed graduation, started a job and was thrown into the deep end. I was expected to do a lot of different roles within that organization because it's a small company. Small
Yeah.
companies mean more responsibility. They expected me to build out a business plan. Like,
Yeah.
how am I going to take this program at the time and scale it, sell it, market it, support it,
Yeah.
fix it, and like essentially build out an entire business development plan and the marketing and everything to support it. So that had me like critically thinking about business and
Yeah.
commercialization of a product, which was really fun and I like that a lot, but I didn't have the training for it.
Yeah.
It's something that you didn't learn in school, and they didn't like school never teaches you how to survive your first job. They're like, here's your
No.
tools, off
No.
you go.
Yes.
So that first job was a bit challenging in the sense that I was working really closely with the owner for the first few months. Like he was copied on almost all my emails at first, and he sent back critiques, like kind of how you would use ChatGPT these days. I was
Yeah.
writing an email with him copied, and he'd reply only to me with how he would have worded it.
Wow.
And that was for the first couple months. It was also like how to present, how to be
Yeah.
represent the brand,
Yeah.
how to be in front of clients and not just any clients. Like I was talking to executives at pharma companies. And this is where being new was actually really good for me because my confidence was through the roof. I was just like, I could talk to
Imagine.
anyone. Little me reaching out to a Big Ten pharma chief strategy officer being like, hey, talk to me, let's chat. And
Yeah.
then he gave me 30 minutes.
Wow.
But to get there, it was all of that coaching that I had to do because that took 6 months before I could do that. But it was 6 months of rigorous 8 hours a day coaching to get
Yeah.
me there.
Yeah. And so, like, that's such an interesting concept because most people will relate being new with like uncertainty, imposter syndrome, lack of confidence. But it's like you raised a really interesting point because there are people out there where the fact that I am learning as I'm going could be literally your superpower in this new space of learning. Because you're just like, what do I have to lose? Like, I need to just give it my all and show up for it.
Yeah, I was delusional. Like I was going after things because I had I didn't know consequences. No one
Yeah.
knew who I was. I had no reputation. Like I could just go and
Yeah.
I can go really fast.
Yeah.
And like that, sometimes I miss that girl because she just like did not
Uh,
hold back.
yeah.
But it was just go, 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 talk to whoever you can, make an impression, pick their brain a little bit, get really good at this one thing
Yeah.
and like learn everything about this one thing. Yeah, I'm learning a lot of the business soft skills, which was really important. Like, if I didn't have that coaching with the business soft skills of like emails, figuring out like learning the technologies for this corporate job
Yeah.
was a learning curve. Like, CRM, so customer relationship managers
Yeah,
or project management tools and everything. Like that was also a huge learning curve. But once you get it and you're rigorous in the process, the rest comes a little bit easier.
yeah,
Because when you learn a culture and you learn the corporate side of things and you learn everything that's happening in a business, then you can do your job without friction
that's
because
true.
you spend a lot of time fighting. If you fight the system that's in place, you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah,
So you need to learn the systems and the processes of corporate world, especially early on, and especially if you're applying out of school, because real jobs are not school. School, they pretend that they prepare you for real jobs. They don't. They don't.
why did you just say that way? Like newsflash, real jobs are not school. I don't know what you've heard and what you've been told, but I am happy to tell you that real jobs are not school. And so on that note, right? Talk to us about how you then take all of what you've learned to be in this new space that you are in today. So talk to the listeners. Walk us through a little bit about your journey. You've always known that you were going to create something and own something. So that's kind of been vibrating in the back for a long time. How do we go from low vibration to we're doing it?
So I've always been passionate about helping others succeed because I don't really like, there's so many people that pull up the ladder behind them.
Yeah,
And it's so frustrating because
yeah,
like you're doing it, you're getting there. Why aren't you helping those behind you? And I sometimes it's like an insecurity thing or whatever. But for me, my passion has been trying to help others succeed. I really like helping them get into the role of their dreams or even like a
yeah,
stepping stone to their dream.
yeah,
So I've always had a vision of being able to help students and early career professionals get into the skills that are not taught in school.
yeah.
You can't tell me that schools are teaching you how to be successful in a workplace. I'm sure there's classes, but the mindset is different. You kind of have to
Very.
be dropped in and you have to be coached into how to do it correctly. And really part of my passion behind it is because I've experienced I've experienced really bad workplaces before. And a lot of people have.
Yeah,
But what tools do you have to try and navigate it or move beyond that role or
yeah,
um, to combat some injustices or unfairness happening in your workplace? Because early career professionals are afraid. They're afraid
very.
of losing their job. They don't know what they can and can't do or say.
Yeah,
And it's hard. No one's coaching you on it and like not your school, not your parents. Maybe if you have a good coach or mentor, but like most people don't have that coming out of school. So how do you, one, have the decorum and professionalism to communicate and represent yourself well?
yep.
How do you jump in to a corporate environment where you can be part of the team without pulling the team down?
Mm-hmm.
And then how do you learn how to market yourself?
Whew,
Because
girl,
that's another big piece of it.
that's a
So it's
huge piece of it.
how do you do all these things while also trying to get your bearings? You just graduated, you're trying to make some money, you're trying to pass your exam so that you can get
Yeah,
licensed. It's it's a lot and learning on the job can be very difficult. So that's the purpose behind what I've done. So I founded Sudacon on this philosophy of helping others learn and explore new areas and then also give the tools, skill sets, and processes to be successful in a workplace. So right now, my first program that I've launched is the Workplace Masteries course, which focuses on writing emails well, and educating on how to be a good communicator in the workplace. It also goes over culture. So corporate culture, work culture, finding the people to work with, who to become aligned with, who to maybe hold at arm's length depending on how you are received. And then, like I said earlier, like the project management piece so that you can jump onto a team makes a difference. If you're trying to get into industry, whether it's a pharma or what I call pharma adjacent industries, so like the medcoms, the agencies, the vendors, the technology, the AI, you need to know how to do basic project management and understand the key terms for those. So whether that's agile or waterfall or any of these things that can help a project move forward and why those are appropriate for the project at hand. Because even in my MBA, I think barely touched on those.
Yeah.
And
That's
so,
wild.
why do you need a project management if you have an MBA and you should be doing finances? But if you are a Pharm D, you probably don't can't read a financial sheet and you probably don't know about the project management.
At all. I am here to tell you as a Farm D that that statement is pretty accurate and really, really dead on. And I think that you touched on something because there are some people listening to this right now that are probably trying to figure out what you're talking about. What do you mean writing emails? I've been writing emails since the beginning of time. What do you mean I need to be guided and coached and learn how to write emails? Can you just
Are
address
you
that?
writing an email or are you achieving a goal? Are
Okay.
you persuasively writing to achieve whatever outcome you want, or are you just putting text on a page? And the whole point is if I'm writing an email and I'm like, "Hi, so and so, here's your file. Thanks, Amanda." That's not getting anything. If you want visibility within your organization, you attach some insight to it. Hello, whoever. You can be casual and you can do a little relationship building. Such a great day out. Hope you get some time outside. Here's the report I put together. I noticed X, Y, and Z,
Hmm.
and this is how it's tied to the organization. Happy to chat more about it. Best, Amanda. It really depends on the situation.
Absolutely.
But for me, one of the things that I was coached on early is how to sell. How to
Yeah.
sell, how to sell, how to sell, how to sell. So to get always be closing, if we're gonna quote some movies,
Yeah.
but emails can do it.
Yeah.
You have to make the ask.
Yes.
What do you want out of this? What do you want out of this communication?
Hmm.
How can you get more visible? How can you really be outcomes driven? You
Yes.
really want your emails to prompt replies. I typically never use all statements. I try to prompt with a question because it makes people feel compelled to answer.
Absolutely.
I have a methodology in the course that is this is so silly. I also still can't believe I put it in the course, but it's from Princess Bride. So you know how Indigo Montoya goes like, "Hello, I'm Indigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die." That translates well to an email. Hello,
Mhm.
introduction, purpose, outcome. Like, let's go. So you really need to figure out what your goal is in communication and
Yeah.
become an effective communicator and really learn how your words have impact and
Absolutely.
how every email you send can be it's a stamp on your brand. I
Yes.
know people don't like saying that they're a brand, but realistically, your reputation should be about being consistent
Yes.
and being a part of the organization. So, how do you bring what you're doing day to day to the larger organization? How do you zoom out
Mhm.
to try and connect those? Because most people are not doing that.
At all.
They're not.
And I think like the reason why I had you kind of talk about that is it's such a simple thing if you've never done it right. You look at emails as this like what could an email do? What could an email get me? Right?
Email has made me a lot of money. In sales, email can make a six-figure deal. So, seven-figure deal. An email can do a lot.
An
So, sorry to
email
cut you
can
off, but I'm just telling you, practical, real-life application, a good email
well,
could get you a sale.
exactly, right? And so like we were just talking about simple things like encouraging students to send a meaningful, well thought out LinkedIn inbox message, a meaningful email to somebody that you want to have a rotation with, but they find it's just like they get stuck because it's just like, oh, it's just an email. And I'm like, yes. So if it's just an email, what's stopping you? But I think, like, in the back of their mind, they know and understand that if you are writing a purposeful email, it's not just going to be a thing that you can do like, let me just send this quickly. You have to sit down and really think about it. As you've said, that email has to be placed in the shadow of a purpose and ask a goal. And most students don't want to do that. So when I get students in my inbox that are just asking, I am very impressed. And I usually feel like I need to step out of my way to help them because I know that they are the minority in that sense, right? But we are talking about emails like it's this when everybody just views it, I'm just going to shoot them an email. But emails are a big
It's
deal.
strategic.
Yes.
It's a strategic choice. It's a first impression a lot of the time, and it is something that you should be doing. Like when you were talking, I was thinking how I've been saying this for years, years and years and years. Why are you self-rejecting? What's
Yeah.
the worst that happens? They
Yeah.
say no.
Hmm.
They don't answer. Okay, then what? You're right where you are right now.
Exactly.
And like what's really helped me is it's not that serious.
It's really
Our
not.
attention is so short. We have the attention span of a goldfish. Everyone, every person in this world, attention of a goldfish. So
Yeah.
the likelihood that they're going to remember this message, not happening. But if you send a message on LinkedIn, the chat's there forever. So don't be saying something that's like, hey, give me that, or hey, tell me what to do. Like, have some decorum and professionalism. I've gotten some messages on LinkedIn where
No
people are
way.
like, give me, like, I was one year, I was giving away free resume reviews, which
Right.
I do every once in a while. If you follow
Yeah.
me on LinkedIn, sometimes I offer that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I offer free LinkedIn reviews, but they were like, do mine. That's all they said. And I did theirs because it was based on the first 10 or the first 20. And I was like, okay, I'll do yours. But the next time it came up and they reached out to me again, that thread is there. That lack of
Absolutely.
respect is like immortalized in that LinkedIn message thread. You want to put your best foot forward because even if you get a different job down the line, you get into pharma, you get into your health system of choice, whatever you want to do. And this person may have to reach out to you in the future where you're in the other seat,
See.
still not going to look good.
Yeah.
So
And
you want to make sure
it's not gonna
that
age well.
it's not going to age well. Like that's specifically my advice for LinkedIn. If you're sending emails, not many people have the same email thread going for years and years, so
Years.
that one can usually disappear.
Yeah.
I'm sure they can look it up and like find you if they wanted to, but for the most part, people forget.
Yeah.
People forget.
They
So
do.
just shoot your shot. Shoot your shot.
Yes.
What's the worst that's gonna happen? They say no. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Have a great day. Or I like when people tell me no because I turn it around and I said, oh, okay, I understand. But I saw this thing that might be interesting to you. And then I give them a little bit of value, send them a
Yeah.
link, send them a study, send them a news article that's relevant to them because in my opinion, a no got their attention. They answered me. It's
Yeah.
better than being ghosted.
Yeah.
Although
Any day.
I will say, recently I was ghosted, but behind the scenes I was forwarded to someone else and it turned into a really good opportunity.
So there are
Even some,
levels. There are levels
yeah,
to
so
the
there are levels.
there are
And
levels.
yeah, and you can assume every email is getting forwarded. You can
And
just assume that.
someone told me that and was like, if you are sending an email to a person, whether you know that person or not, I want you to assume that they are going to forward that email. Now, whatever emotion that evokes in you, that's the energy that the email needs to get. And it completely changed like the way I go about communicating because I'm always just like, they're right. It can be forwarded and circulated amongst endless number of people. And if one person doesn't decide to break the chain and tell me, hey, I saw that thing you sent, I will never know. I will never know.
Yeah. And This is really important, and I know we're talking a lot about email, but it's just a professionalism in general, and I hear about this feedback all the time. I hate, I'm gonna call it ageist, but ageist scenarios where people are putting down the next generation of leaders,
Uh-huh.
and I hate it.
Absolutely.
But I will also say I've had quite a few young people reaching out to me with a little bit too casually.
Yeah. It's a real
So
thing.
it's definitely there. So when it comes to professionalism, decorum, preparing,
Oh, yeah.
you can just prepare. Like my big thing is like I will spend an hour and a half researching a company, a person, a thing to figure out what they would be interested in or
Yeah.
what they're focused on
Yeah.
so I can write a 3-sentence email. And it could be silly, but it's more impactful than just randomly saying whatever like random. I don't even know. Like I've never done that, so I just don't know what you would do.
Are you trying to think about what would be a random email that people send
And
because you have
yeah,
no experience with that?
I like just sleuthing a little bit and figuring out what people want to know about. Like, what are you passionate about? What are you working on? I can usually figure out what someone's working on just from their job title and where they work. Um, and you can kind of like figure out if they have a specialty either based on their board certifications or where they work or what indication or like if they're pharma and they work in immunology, you can kind of like look up the pharma company, figure out what immunology drugs are on their portfolio and just kind of like guess.
Yeah.
So there are some ways to do it, but well, I guess what I'm trying to say is success isn't luck, it's preparation
Thank you.
and consistency.
Thank you. I appreciate that you are explicitly stating that after taking some time to describe how things, simple things like email can set the tone, put your best foot forward. There are a lot of gems in there, but when it comes down to it, I always tell people this, the difference between the student breaks away from the pack and the excellent candidate that never gets discovered is that one of them figured out that they need to be ready for all possible outcomes. And they are ready. They don't need to tell the opportunity, okay, give me a sec. I'm going to get my thoughts together and get ready. Whatever you put in front of them, they are ready to tackle it, embrace it with grace, grit, and people want that around them. Like nobody wants complacency around them. So even if you're like wicked smart, people that are around you that have been at it a little longer than you, they are looking for like the next thing that they can pour all of their knowledge and energy into. But if you are just, my school says that I need to be here for 8 hours every day, I come on time, I do my thing, and I go home. Once people that are in a position to actually pour into you pick up on that, they match your energy. It's just
Yeah. I
your brand new program. There's an online course. I want you to please talk a little bit about the course, what you hope this course accomplishes and does, and who it was built for.
So it was built for any of the listeners here today. It really had early career professionals and new grads in mind, but it really applies to anyone who is going from any place or role or environment into a corporate world.
Yeah.
Because even if you're in retail or you are in school or even in hospital in some cases,
Yeah.
you may not have the skill set for clear communication, confident emails, setting boundaries, learning how to do the soft skills of being in a organization that has more defined hierarchies and communication rules that are unspoken. And so the workplace mastery program with Sudacon is the toolkit that I really wish I had when I
Yeah.
started because it really answers a lot of the key things. So it's really to bridge the gap between the setting that you're in and a corporate environment. So you may know a couple of the things in it, but it's the whole package that gets put together to help you get there. So it has workplace readiness, so understanding professionalism, communication, expectations and accountability, and then also time management and productivity because it's not the same regimented expectation of retail or hospital. There's not orders to be filled. It's more, I don't want to say flexible, but it's more intangible. There's set either your own deadlines or your manager does. Is urgency still a thing? Yes. But you can tone down your nervous system. You can just understand what the culture is and manage within the expectations. So it's just expectation management, time management, productivity. We also go through the emails, like I mentioned, how to communicate well, how
Yeah.
to have the tough conversations,
Oh,
how
yeah.
to potentially, we have different tools and skills that we implemented within the course to help with that. How to write well.
Yeah.
So, how to be clear, concise, professionalism, how to avoid common mistakes, resume writing a little bit is in there. We also have basics. So, I have different tools, whether it's Microsoft or Google calendar decorum. So, like
Yeah.
how to send a good invite out. Please don't forget your agendas. Write one if you don't have one, please. File sharing and what that means within a corporate environment and protecting yourself in that environment. Excel essentials.
Yeah.
I know everyone takes a little bit of Excel, but we go over the main components of being successful in a corporate environment
Okay.
and then we also go over career growth. So, like, how to understand when you are feeling the trigger to move on. So, it's hard to
Yeah.
identify that.
Yeah.
And what are you currently feeling? What's energizing you? What's pulling your energy away? And how do you work that into where you go next? So,
Yes.
there's a lot in here. It sounds like way more than that, but it's like, I would say, even at a very slow pace, you could probably finish it in 4 hours.
That's awesome. And that is really amazing. Where can they find this information? How can they find you? I want to make sure that they are able to find you and the course.
So Sudicon.com, Ceuticon.com, like pharmaceutical, but just the middle, and then con, and then you can join our pharmaceutical icon, so Sudicon, by joining our community and doing a course with us. You can go on to Sudicon.com and access Workplace Mastery. And for Success in Doses listeners, we have a 20% off code if you use the term Success in Doses, no spaces, and you can get it and try it and see how this will help you get the next step in your career. And then to contact me, I'm on LinkedIn all the time. So you can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram. So I have a personal LinkedIn and Instagram, Amanda DeMarzo, or on Instagram, it's Dr. Amanda DeMarzo. And then Sudicon is both on LinkedIn and Instagram as
Thank you for sharing that. What do you know now after being through this phenomenal journey that's landed you exactly where you want to be? What do you want P1 Amanda to know about what's coming?
I don't know if you're gonna like this one, but P1 Amanda, I would say keep pushing the boundaries, don't follow the rules, and just do your best. Because realistically, P1 Amanda was not the best student.
Okay.
Like, I memorizing things was not my game. I'm better at practical, I'm better at talking about it, and it was just all rote memorization at that point. So,
Yeah.
just doing your best. Like, I would say I was outspoken from the beginning,
Yeah.
and I would say don't stop that because it's got me where I am today. I know that's not a very pharmacist thing to say because
What do you
as a
mean?
whole, we're rule followers, but push the boundaries a little bit more.
Good.
Explore.
And this is what I want, right? Like I want the candid, the honest truth about what this journey is. And in your case, you are within your right to say push the boundaries. And P1 Amanda pushed back a lot. You wouldn't change a thing about that because you are look at the phenomenal journey that you've had and where you are today doing great work and now you're in a unique position to be able to impart some of that wisdom that you've picked up along the way and pushing the boundaries and helping the next generation coming up to have all of the tools they need to be successful. I cannot thank you enough. And I know you probably think I'm annoying for every time I do this, but you are one of those people that I call up randomly and just say, "Hey, I'm trying to do this. What can you tell me?" And you always give me so much more than what I bargained for. And tonight definitely didn't disappoint as well. I really appreciate you. And thank you for joining us. And to reach out to Dr. Amanda DeMarzo, I promise you won't be sorry. Thank you for joining us. If what you heard on this episode resonated with you, or you think there's a conversation to be had, or you think that somebody else can benefit from hearing this episode, please like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast with somebody. Join my subscription list at www.successanddoses.com, where we can continue this conversation there as a community in a safe corner of the internet where we can all voice our opinions and stands on complex topics. Until next time, please remember, success isn't something that's going to happen with giant leaps. Every single day, you should be making small intentional steps that all work in concert and together to getting you to your own definition of what success is and your destination of what you envision success to be for yourself.